All right, let's get started. I see it's 6:05, and I would like to welcome everyone to Learnix Center. We are very excited to see you tonight. This is both orientation meeting and the first class. So during the first part of our presentation, we are going to discuss, explain about our course, about the structure of the course. We are going to address any questions that you might have. We are going to explain to you the trainings that we are doing on this course and why we are doing them. And once that part is addressed, we're going to turn this over to your instructor, Konstantin, and he's going to take over and we'll start module 1, and subsequently he will be teaching module 2. Again, I'm going to explain and address our module system and why we have it and how it does serve our students. Let me introduce myself and the school. My name is Larry Poltavtsev, and I am a co-founder of Learnix Center. We are a state certified school, and we've been doing these teachings and trainings over the last 12 years, right? So we've been training people and helping them to change and transform their careers from non-IT to IT in a short period of time, and accommodate their transition to a completely new life and new career. So that's what we've been doing, and many students have a number of questions about the course and the IT in general, and I'm very happy to answer those questions, obviously. And we have a unique program that is tailored and designed for working adults who are interested in changing their lives and transitioning to information technology. Information technology became a very large industry, and unfortunately, not many people understand that. But within the IT industry, there are opportunities for people to launch their initial careers without prior experience and prior knowledge, and with no coding that is required for that either, because those are two major barriers that are holding off many people from considering IT, even though IT obviously offers a lot of benefits to people in terms of generous compensation packages and benefits and stability, ability to work remotely, and many other advantages. So just like the medical industry, which became very big, you do not necessarily have to be a brain surgeon to enter into the medical field. Well, guess what? The same holds true for an IT industry. And we're going to show you how to do that. The course is structured within the 3 components in mind. Obviously, you're going to have academic training. You do need theoretical knowledge because you've never been exposed to IT. So naturally, we are going to introduce fundamentals, which are essential to you at this point. And the second major component is heavy hands-on experience, where our instructors are bringing real projects from their places of employment so that you can execute those projects with your own hands and gain experience. That is very important part of the training, so that you can be exposed to this situation. Now, the third component is the development of soft skills and job placement assistance. So again, we are a state certified school, and we read all the state produced reports nationwide, and absence of soft skills is a number one barrier for people when they're trying to get employed. So, and we are trying to eliminate this barrier and address this issue. So basically, soft skills includes interpersonal skills, your conflict resolution skills, your resume writing skills, your interview preparation skills. So those are areas that we address and we train you as well, because again, in order to be successful, you need to have those skills as well, in addition to technical skills, right? And we also partnering with a number of corporations and organizations to enable job placement assistance. In particular, we are, and I'm going to share my screen with you and show you one of our partners. This is a wonderful organization. This is a non-profit organization, wayup.com, and we partner with them. They partner with state certified schools, and they help students to get positions with the prestigious Fortune 500 organizations such as L'Oreal, BlackRock, CVS. For some reason, their website is not loading up correctly tonight. But anyway, as a candidate, you can apply here, and our school is listed as one of the partnering organizations. So you would be able to choose that, and then you would be able to register and start looking for a job. So that is only one example of how we assist our students in finding positions, right? And then, of course, we do have internship after the course, and we encourage our students to attend that internship. What kind of internship we offer and how does it look like? Well, we try to emulate, simulate, if you will, the real office environment. So basically, we created an environment where our students merging an ongoing project as if you were employed by an IT organization. So you have an opportunity to to go through the onboarding process, read the documentation, enter the project, and start contributing under the guidance of our instructors, right? And we do have different qualified instructors who read and present you with different modules. Why do we do that? Many students are asking this question. Well, why not have one instructor who leads you through all the modules? Well, that is a valid question, and we do that on purpose because different IT professionals interacting with you, and you have a chance to learn from different experience and see different points of view. Sometimes even we have students who are coming and saying, well, one instructor is approaching this from this subject from one end and another from a different end. Are they contradicting each other? No, they are not. But this is what you are going to see in the real world out there. And this is how we are preparing you for entering the IT organization anywhere. so that you would be prepared that different people have different approaches, and you will see that, and you would have a chance to adapt to these practices. That's how the course is structured, and that's how we are presenting information for you. And of course, all the classes are with the live instructors, and they're structured for working adults. We are studying 2 times a week from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are training you up so that you would be able to pass ISTQB certification, which is the International Software Testing Quality Board certification. And we encourage you to take that exam once the course is finished. That certification is typically recommended for people who had at least 2 years of working experience. I'm proud to say that absolute majority of students who are taking this exam, they're successfully passing that. So we are very proud of this fact. And by adding that to your resume, you definitely, in the eyes of your potential employer, you're raising up your level because you come across as a person who already has 2 years of experience. So this is the certification, and you can read about it. You can go to our certifications. Obviously, our students are expected to take the very first level, which is foundation level, and start from here. Again, your name, this is the international register, so and your name will be added to their website, and you would be able to do. Any questions so far?
Is there any age limitations, or
No.
is there any, particular, the qualifications?
There are no prerequisites for this course. And also, the only limitation on age is that our school is a school for adults. So our state license requires that we accept people who are 18 years old and higher.
By nine, I can also tell you, being a student administrator, I have the widest range of student ages, ranging from 18 years old. I think the oldest student that I've enrolled was 66. And I just put several students through a program that ranged from 60 to 65. They're all retirees, and their plan now is to do testing remotely from home to supplement their incomes. And so yeah, age is not an issue. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you listed that you were 73, correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. So yes, but no, the only limitations that we have are the students themselves. You're only limited by your own abilities, to learn new things and to move forward and stuff like that.
May I answer your question about the homework? Because I will be your instructor for Module 1 and 2. You will receive 15 assignments for both modules. But I do encourage you guys to do your assignments because they definitely will help you to boost your success with Learnix and to, lay out all the material we cover, and like to reveal your expertise, grow up your skill set. So it's basically not that difficult to do these assignments, but they require your attention, your active participation during our classes. That's it. So back to you, Larry.
If you are serious about succeeding in this class, then I encourage you to actively engage and participate, and definitely find time for homework. And subsequently, once the course is finished, or even before the course is finished, dedicate time for the job hunting in a very serious manner. And we're going to provide you with guidance on how to do that in the most efficient way. So I encourage you to be very serious about it, because you are here to learn, and we are here to guide you and provide you with as much information and knowledge as we can. But ultimately, it's up to you how you're going to absorb that material, how you're going to accumulate it, and things like that. And I'm going to show you our book. This is our book, and it's structured as a PowerPoint presentation. So again, as your instructor is making presentation, you're supposed to take notes, and you are supposed to ask questions, right? I mean, so the instructor is going to elaborate on each slide, and you are actively engaged and participating in the discussion, right? We do have 11 modules that we teach you, and tonight we're going to start with module 1, building a career in software testing. And we go through the software development life cycle, explain what that is, and why the tester needs to know that, because as a tester we need to know certain things even beyond our discipline. And we teach testing techniques and types of testing, and of course we pay a lot of attention to agile and scrum methodology, which is widely used in the industry. So we would like our students to be prepared for that. And naturally, web commerce and e-commerce. And by the way, I do believe we are the only school that teaches 508 compliance. There is a federal law that says that websites that represent federal government, state government, local government, and those websites, they do need to be accessible by people with disabilities. If the person who is not who is testing the website does not have those particular disabilities themselves, I mean, it would be very difficult for them to verify that it's friendly to people with disabilities, right? There are several tools that allow any person to verify that the website is compliant with 508 compliance laws, and that indeed people with disabilities would be able to access the information published by the government, including state, local government as well. So, and of course, we give you understanding of SQL database, and as well as web and e-commerce and HTML, HTTP. I mean, again, I don't want, I heard from some students, I had a feedback that for some reason they thought it's a part of the testing discipline. It's not. I mean, those are standalone disciplines. I mean, databases and SQL languages. SQL languages by itself a discipline, but we give you a little bit of a taste of it in the amount that are necessary and required for a software tester, right? And same with everything else, so that you would be successful professional practicing your craft, and you would be very attractive as an employee for any potential employer, and so forth. So, and we also, in the final module, we give you introduction to some automation tools and everything. And we have different instructors who are going to present these modules to you. I mean, you will start with Konstantin, our great instructor, who is a distinguished Apple educator. He has numerous awards from different corporations, including Apple. And we do have Peter Isbell. He is a wonderful person who has over 35 years of experience in software testing, and he worked for NASA and Canadian Space Agency. So we have wonderful, very interesting people who had interested careers, and they really have something to share with you. Well-qualified database professionals who are coming and teaching you as well. Andrei will be presenting these modules on SQL, and Xenia is going to present testing tools. So we do have wonderful team of professionals who are going to take care of you. Any questions?
Hey, sorry, I have a question. So will all classes be recorded? And do we have some access to those videos, like in case I miss one class?
Excellent question. Jason will address that.
Yes, each class is recorded, approximately anywhere from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern time the morning after. We will send out a link to that recording, and those are accessible to you the whole time you're connected to the school. Really quick, as long as I'm talking about receiving emails, it's very important that you try and designate either a file folder or filters for Learnix materials so that they don't get lost in the shuffle. A lot of times I get questions every day, where's my link? And a quick search will usually find it in a spam folder. But it's important that you designate a space for that. All of your documentation for class will also be provided through a Google Workspace that you'll have a link to. You'll get that next week so that you can access all the documentation from classes, modules, and then the recordings will come to you in a link form separately.
Again, I strongly advise people not to rely on video recordings, but participate in person as much as possible, because that would be much more beneficial for you than just passively watching the recording. Because when you're watching the recording, you are not able to interject and ask the question, and you know what I mean, right? Let me ask you, how many of you know what software testers do? I mean, why are we here? What exactly we're trying to do? I mean, I would like just inject this question and see how are we doing? What are you thinking? Anyone?
Well, the simple answer is to find the bugs, but it's not really right because they're not just looking for the bug, but there is some requirements that they got from their lead, and then they just try to make sure the requirements from the customer their match with what they see on the website.
Valerie, excellent. Thank you. Basically, in life, all of us are naturally testers. We go through life testing things all the time, right? If we plan to order a birthday cake for our friend, right? Mentally, we are going through the series of steps. It never occurred to us to write them down, put them on the piece of paper, create a test plan, right? So, but we're doing it on the fly, right? So basically, how that scenario, one of the scenarios, one of the millions of scenarios may look like. For me, it may look like this. Step one, open my laptop. Step two, go on Google Chrome, right? Go open Google Maps and search for bakery near me, right? And so forth. I can put on a piece of paper every tiny little step, right? And finally, I go to the bakery and I say, well, my friend would like to have a chocolate cake. I would like rectangular one. I would like happy birthday, John, Mary, whatever the name to be written on the cake, that sort of thing, Then let me ask you, when you come back for the cake, what do you do? Do you just throw money at them, grab the box and run away? I seriously doubt that. Again, you go through the steps. I mean, you go through several steps, right? You say, well, hello, sir, madam, whatever, and please open the box, right? And then you do checks, right? Is that chocolate? Because my friend likes chocolate cake, right? Is it rectangular? Because that's what I asked for. Does it say happy birthday or does it say happy new year? Did they get the name right? Right? And only if you're satisfied with all those criteria and you didn't find any bugs, to your point, Valerie, then yes, then you give them money and you get the cake, right? But I bet you're not going to pay them unless you are satisfied, right? So guess what? The cake is not that much different from the website. It's the same thing, right? I mean, the website, the app, or any kind of software application you want to check. And now I would like to, before I continue further, I would like to welcome to the class our former student and our successful graduate, Alexandra, Sasha. She goes by Sasha. She's Alexandra Zatvernik, and she's on your screen. She appears on the right from me, at least for me. And she came from Ukraine, and you know, Ukraine is torn by war, so she had to flee her country last year, and she came, and her previous background had nothing to do with IT, because, and she'll tell you yourself, and then she went through our course, and now she's working for Airbus. I'm sure many of us flew the airplanes, and we know that this is one of the famous companies like Boeing, right? So, Sasha, welcome. Please tell us your story, and maybe our students would have questions for you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Hi, Larry. I'm glad to see you right now. My name is Sasha. I'm from Ukraine. I came in USA last year in May, and I was working as a bookkeeper in Ukrainian more than 11 years. I have not any information about IT. And when I came in USA, I think about what job should I have in USA, and what should be in my next step. And I found Learnix Center in Facebook, and I finished Learnix Center courses in September, and I found my QA job in December. And right now I'm a QA analyst in a big company, Airbus. There are a lot of French people because Airbus is a French company. I started look at my job from September while I was attended in internship. And there was a lot of calls from recruiter, and some of them was really good. And I think, wow, I have a job, but nobody calls me back. And I had to continue it. And I'm grateful to everybody at Learnix Center. Everybody from this school helped me with all my questions, helped me to change my life to better. And right now I have a great job with a great manager. I have amazing team. And right now I have a new car, new apartment. Thank you very much, Larry, for your help, for your supporting. Thank you, Learnix Center. Thank you, all teachers from Learnix Center. You help everyone who to change our life in a better way. Yes, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me. Because I understand how I was in your place 1 year ago. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me.
Thank you so much. And that is unexpected. I mean, thank you. I mean, we greatly appreciated to have you as a student, and we are enormously proud of your success. And
Yeah.
I know you went through a lot. I mean, your situation was very difficult, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have 2 boys.
Yes, correct. I'm a single mom in USA. My husband's still in Ukraine. I'm here. We came in USA, I and with my 2 twins, 2 boys, they are twins. And it was very hard for me. But my Learnix Center helped me to change my life and found myself, and I'm happy to be here on my place in my job. Right now, I have a hybrid position, and sometimes I visited my office, and it's very helped me to learn English because I worry about my language barrier. Please correct me, Larry. Yeah. Because my English was not good, but actually Learnix Center helped me understand English more. And during our classes, we communicate with different people because our class was had different nationality. Yes, and it was very interesting course. And thank you again and again, because right now I have new friends. Right now I have a new job and great teams.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Many students are asking that how many resumes per day approximately you were sending out when you were searching for a job?
During the day, it was 10 or 15, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, because first of all, I read job description, and I try to understand what they need from me, all information, and then I sent my resume. It was 10 or 15 during the day.
Wonderful.
I'm really happy to share with you my experience, because I understand you and I was on your place, and I remember how I feeling during my first months during my classes, and it was very nervous because I'm afraid. Yes, afraid. But right now, I'm so happy that I found Learnix Center, and I'm very happy to have a friends because right now, teacher from Learnix Center, like my friends, if I have question during during my job, real job, not internship, I can communicate with my teachers and ask them, and I received every time answer.
So what platform did you use for those chats? Because I still don't really understand. Is it gonna be like a email, or is it gonna be like in a classroom, or Trello, or what else they have now?
I understand your question. We have a Slack,
Slack,
yes, and inside this app, we have a chat for all people from our class. You have in this app, you can communicate in one by one teacher or student, or you can communicate with all students from school.
Sasha, my question, did you have any previous IT experience? And I don't know if you said that or not, or I missed it.
No, I have not. I have simple basic knowledge like everyone. I can open my notebook, I can found Google search. I don't know anything about IT industry.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you.
Everyone, feel free. You have my email address. If you have any question, feel free to connect with me, and everything will be fine. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We admire your courage. Thank you, Sasha. Now I see that our instructor Trang, and I'm going to give the floor to her, and she would give you a couple of introductions. Trang, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to join this call. My name is Trang. I am currently a project manager, and I'm helping Learning Tree Center with our internship program. So we have classes where we help students getting the experience of working in teams in an agile environment on projects, and hone their skills, not just their concepts, their knowledge, but also the practice side of it, and sharing our experience in a agile environment, what they can expect being a QA in the real team, real world, on a real project, things like that, and give some advice for their internship, not internship, interviews, and guide them through and help them making sure that they feel comfortable moving forward as a QA. My background, I started as with my undergrad in finance. I had some time doing FP&A, so it was mostly like non-tech, and now I'm currently a IT project manager. So I understand how the students going through from a non-tech perspective and trying to fit in the IT tech world. So if you have any question, let me know.
All right, guys, I wanted to share with you what actually software testers do in very simple terms, so that you would understand what this job entails, right? So, and to do that, I'm going to share my screen once again and illustrate. Initially, Amazon was selling only books and electronics, right? You remember those times. Those of you who lived in the United States, they remember that. And later on, Amazon grew much bigger, and they announced that on a certain date, I do believe it was April, mid-April or something, and 12 a.m. Pacific time, whatever, they're going to allow corporations and people to sell not only books and electronics, but anything on their website, right? And now, as you know, they are selling anything and everything. They were hugely embarrassed because, again, if you remember, initially, when they were selling books and electronics, they had a large icon, clickable button or something that says buy new or used, right? And if you want to save money, you can choose to buy a refurbished electronics or used book that somebody else already read through, that, and save a little bit of money. So it was a very valid concept. So, for example, if we go, even now, if we go and say type HP laptop, right? I mean, you will see that they offer not only brand new items, but you can find among their offerings where they say, that they have here on the screen, you see they have 3 used and new offers, right? So you can buy brand new for $399, or for $390 you can buy refurbished one, right? So so it's a clickable link, looks very nice, right? Well, the embarrassment came that morning when they switched initially, is that people type toilet paper, and guess what? They saw the same link, buy new or used. And as you can imagine, for a large Fortune 500 corporation, that was extremely embarrassing. And the following morning, I mean, all the newspapers, news outlets, everybody translated this story, and they had to apologize and everything. So now let me show you why this happened, right? And actually, a testing team was responsible for that, because their testers didn't find the bug, right? What would you do as a software tester on your job? You're going to receive instructions from your team or from your supervisor, how and what to test. And remember our previous example with the birthday cake? I mean, we think in steps, little steps, right? Just like if you want to order a cake for your friend, you go through little steps. Same thing is here, same logic, right? So you would have a table, a spreadsheet in front of you, which would direct you how to test, right? The website, not the cake. I mean, we all know how to test the cake now, right? So it would have like a task number. So this is the step number, if you will. It will have, task description, right? It will have expected result, and it will have actual result, right? Okay, well, guess what? Someone at Amazon at that time received a very simple task. It was like a task number, something, 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 right? And the task description was, guess what? You know, verify that disposable, perishable items do not display by new or used clickable hyperlink. Very simple, right? Okay. So expected result, well, guess what? We observe no such thing. No such link is displayed, right? So the very simple job of the person at Amazon at that time was go on the Amazon website, enter a couple of perishable items, disposable items, and verify that buy new or used clickable link does not appear. And, you know, in the actual result column, check that everything is okay, right? Well, guess what? They didn't verify, they didn't do a good job, and they put okay here and let it through. That's why their corporation was embarrassed, because they didn't find that bug. As a matter of fact, they were supposed to identify that defect, this bug, and we call them defects, and in the software, in the app, in the website, and they should say that it's still displayed, you know. And they were supposed to attach a screenshot of what they observed and immediately raise the alarm and notify their team members and the supervisor and everything else. So this is what software testers do on their job, and this is how they investigate things. It's like being a detective. It's really getting sometimes very exciting, because you can find things that you can't even imagine, right, with the app. So, but the person who was doing that didn't do a good job, and that's why that happened, right? So, am I simplifying and exaggerating here tonight? Of course, yes. The real test plan and test case has more columns in it. It's a little bit more elaborate, and that's why we teach you, right? I mean, obviously, the reason we are here is to teach you how to do that. This job is indeed not very complicated by itself. If you know your craft, if you know what you're doing, as you can see, you don't need to know how to code or create complex programs or anything. And guess what? Corporations are paying good money because they worry about the quality of their product, and they have a reason to worry about the quality. As you can see, even Amazon had very unfortunate experience, right? And they don't want that. So yes, on one hand, this is that simple. And of course, like with everything else in life, we have to learn certain things. We have to learn certain protocols. We learn rules, how to make those reports correctly, how to communicate with our colleagues, how to be a good tester, what kind of techniques to employ. Do I need to enter 100 perishable items before I complete my report, or just 2 or 3, how to choose, how to do it correctly. That's what we teach on the course. If you decide to become a paralegal, you would have to go through a course and learn a big book and with rules. Same thing is here. I mean, whether you want to be, cosmetologist or X-ray technician or any wonderful occupation, whether it looks initially simple or not, there are certain rules and certain books that you have to learn, you have to master, so that you present yourself professionally, right? So same thing is here, but it's not out of this world. Any person with common sense and attention to details is capable of learning this and mastering this occupation and be very successful, just like Sasha. So that's what I wanted to illustrate for you tonight. And that's what the course is about. So again, I encourage you to participate as much as possible, be engaged, and do the homework, get the certifications, do a very diligent job search, apply yourself, and be as much successful as possible.
Okay, so will we get a certificate at the end, and do we have an exam, or is that a certain percentage of let's say we have to make 70 of 100 to get the certification?
Yes, obviously, we issue a state certified diploma, and we measure your performance by your attendance and engagement. Yes, there is no exam or anything like that.
I just kind of got a friend of mine is taking the courses, and she said, hey, I think you may be interested. So I just kind of jumped in to see, to listen in, and I just didn't know how the program ran or how it started. So that helps.
Well, there's also, if you look in the chat, I put my link to my appointment calendar. I'm not sure if you've dealt with anyone at the school yet, but I'm what's called a student administrator. There's myself, Cyril, and Julia. We don't just sign you up for the classes. We're your point of contact with the school. In many ways, we're that first line for you guys. If there's a problem, you're going to reach out to us. And I deal with everything from Jason, I lost my password, to Jason, I'm losing my mind. We try and offer a really solid structure of support here. I do always say communication is key. You have to express a problem if there is one, or we can't correct it. It's important that you reach out to me if there's an issue as your student administrator, or to Cyril or Julia, because a lot of times our instructors have a curriculum, they have, their abilities to do stuff, but when it comes to scheduling or issues with other things, that's when you're going to come to me, and we're going to work on that resolution for you. Or, if you're feeling like you need more help or anything like that, that's where we come into play, as well as student administrators, is to give you that extra support.
We had a very good question from David about the state certification for the school. I'm going to share that with everyone, is that we are certified by the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, chef.edu, and you can find the school certification in the pull down list. Yeah, so we are here, right here, and this is their official website, chef.edu. Konstantin will present module 1.
So my name is Konstantin. I will be your instructor for modules 1 and module 2. I am an Apple Distinguished Educator. I work for IT industry for almost 30 years. I'm also with education, pretty much the same amount of time. So I have some expertise both in teaching and in IT, and of course in software testing and quality assurance. I will give you an introduction to the wonderful world of quality assurance and software testing. We will discuss what it takes to become a tester, what skill set is required, what skills, hard skills, soft skills, we need to develop in ourselves to become successful testers. But first of all, let me get more info about you to tailor my class specifically to your needs. So let us do the first activity for tonight. Let's get to know you better. So have you time? I will give you like about 2 to 3 minutes to prepare, and then I will ask every one of you to turn on your camera and to speak up a bit more about yourself, like your name, anything you would like to share about you, and of course your expectations for this class. So have you 5 minutes, get prepared. I know it's probably a difficult task, a difficult assignment, but you know, we all will definitely need to get ourselves prepared for job interviews, right? And most of job interviews are now like conducted remotely via Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any other like software to organize online meetings. So it's vital to develop these skills in ourselves. I mean, like communication skills, the ability to speak up on camera without like experiencing any fear or anxiety. So take you 5 minutes, chill, relax, and prepare a short story, an introduction about you. And then like in 5 minutes, 10 minutes to the next hour for class, we'll start introducing ourselves to the class. And thank you guys for sharing your stories, for introducing yourselves to the class. So as far as I can get from what you said, you like mostly have no IT or little IT background, and that's okay. That shouldn't frustrate you, you know? Yeah, Jason, great job, everyone. Yeah, fantastic. But you know, your non-technical background, it's not the thing to like feel yourself frustrated about or feel any anxiety or even being depressed, you know. Let me reveal a little secret to you guys. Basically, a lot of companies, especially here in the valley where I'm like currently working, they do accept, it's like a common practice nowadays, they do accept people with no technical background as testers, especially as user interface testers. It's an advantage. It's not a disadvantage to get into this profession. I mean, so because you're more to user experience, to what like real life people feel about apps or software they're using. You know what I mean, right? So companies who are fanatical or enthusiastic about quality and users experience, they do accept people who are more to users than to developers or coders, software engineers, because they still retain that user perspective. and able to find bugs and software defects from user side. Because, software engineers, they do find bugs too. And I'll explain you later on in module 2 what's happening there when developers do test their parts of code. But in general, they're too professional to find bugs that regular user may find. So your non-technical background is an advantage, not a disadvantage. That's what I will encourage you to retain for now. Your non-technical background, your user's perspective, that will help you. That definitely will. All right, and without any further ado, let's deep dive into module 1, the initial content of our course, of our program. Okay, have something. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Risa. So, yeah, appreciate it. Guys, let's go straight ahead and open the module 1 for you. Building a career in software testing. We did open our course with this, as we want you to start considering what it takes to build a successful career in software testing and quality assurance. And after we finish this module 1, it will happen next week. You will be able to understand career options that come with software testing and what it takes to build a successful software testing career. So, if we will be looking over this big pool of career options, we may split this into 3 smaller groups. The first group is non-management career paths within testing discipline. And there are 2 others, smaller lakes, like management career paths and IT career paths outside testing discipline. Let's try to find out what each of these 3 groups means, what it combines. So here is a list of professions, of roles in non-management career path within testing discipline. There are test analysts, system analysts, quality assurance analysts, user interface and human analyst, security tester, readiness, a lot of professions here. And here is another assignment for you. May I ask you to look over this bullet list of professions, career roles in testing discipline, and find the most easy for you to get a job. What is the best starting point for you to start your job as a tester? Choose one from this list, please, and try to explain why you think this role or career path option is the best for you. Why? I mean, in short, why you've chosen it. So I think we will allocate just a minute for this activity to choose what's the best for you and why. And then we will talk about it a bit more. All right?
This is where I will also interject and say, everyone, if you're reading a phrase that you do not understand here, you can always ask the instructor, but Google is your friend. Okay. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting because I do want you guys to be active like
Yeah.
during classes. Yeah, thank you, Jason.
You're very welcome.
All right, let's play a lucky guess game or choose one. So, time is up. What do you think? What's the best, what's the easiest way to enter into this wonderful world of software testing? Is it an automation tester, a readiness tester, and an automation test architect, user interface, and human factor analyst? So, whom you consider to be the easiest entry point into the craft of testing, and why?
This is Christina, a test analyst, because maybe they're just looking for the bugs of a particular part of a product and not a whole product like a QA analyst would be looking at.
Thank you so much, Christina, for sharing your thoughts. Test analyst is more about analyzing other testers' activities, their test plans, their test methods. This guy gives advices to his peers on what to test, how to test, keeping in mind that he wants testing team to be efficient overall. So probably this guy, test analyst, requires more skill than other career options here. So he definitely requires some expertise. It's not, I'm sorry, test analysts are not the easiest entry point here.
Okay, then I'm going to change it and say the QA analyst.
And QA analyst, yeah, they're more to testing the quality, to analyze the quality assurance process in organization. They're even more experienced than test analysts. It's a level up.
Maybe the performance tester or the automation tester, because it sounds individual. They're testing the performance, not analyzing, or it doesn't include the word expert in it.
Okay, yeah, definitely subject matter expert is the guy who knows a lot about testing. Yeah, but automation tester, these guys do they do automation. They do have coding skills, so they know how to write a few lines of code to automate tests. So they have some programming background maybe. As what of performance testers, they do a tricky job actually. They try to figure out how software behaves when a lot of users start using it. So they do some analysis as well, some prognosis. They arrange quite complex and complicated tests, to be honest. So that's probably not the easiest option for you. All right, we still have a few on our plate, like security tester, readiness tester, automation test architect. Probably that's like even even harder to get to this position because it definitely requires automation testing background. All right, let's keep automation test architect. We have like security tester, user interface tester, and that's probably all. What will you choose of these two options, guys? All right. And the correct answer, the right answer is, okay, drum beat, user interface and human factor analyst. Why?
Well, the interface part is probably the easier part to test, but regarding the analysis part, I'm guessing it requires like still some understanding, but maybe easier compared to the other ones that are here.
Absolutely. It requires no technical background because these guys, these testers, do specific tests related to user experience and user interface. They're more to what people will see when they will click like the button on their desktop, the icon on their desktop, and launch the software, or if they like be launching an app, they also will see some user interfaces, right? So when you like when you use an app like DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, you're launching it, and then you will see the user interface that was designed for a user, for you to use, to get advantage of software, like to order yourself a taxi or order yourself some food, right? And that what user interface and human factor analysts do test every day. And they are looking to this user interfaces stuff from users' perspective, trying to find bugs and defects before actual users will find them. There are like a lot of stories, and like during the next class, I will give you a wonderful Amazon example. And we'll discuss what it means, why this user interface and human factor analyst profession is very important to safeguard companies' reputations. In fact, some user interface and human factor analysts get more than software engineers, because software engineers do tests, do coding, they do like initial testing. Yes, they do. But they're not safeguarding the company reputation. It's testers' job. And testers are paid more because of just that. They're preventing bugs and software defects from appearing on end user screen, right? So we will be studying this craft. We will be learning how to test user interfaces and to do that pretty well. And of course, if you want to like continue your education and like go to automation testing, you can do it. You can do it. We do have automation testing courses and classes we do offering them here at Learnix as well. But initially, you need to complete user interface and human factor analyst courses, right? All right, Jason, please go.
I just wanted to point out, when you see the words human factor analyst, don't look into it as so much as a technical thing as exactly what it sounds like. You're testing the interface for its human factor. What is the factor that a human being is going to have on this system? So for instance, if you've ever been, well, now recently with Google and Windows, if an error comes up on the screen, it'll say we've sent a message to Windows or we've sent a message to Google. That's an automated test system. Then if you've ever typed in a website and it came up 404 error cannot be found, the first thing you would do is look at the HTTP address and see, did I misspell it? That's, you're testing those are the human factors that come into play with that type of situation.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. And we will talk a bit more, a lot more during the next class, of course. We will see all these errors, what user interface and human factor analysts do, their like routine. Yeah, I'm not 1 hour class to be scared, and that's why I'm not into specifics, into details. Right? But definitely will be like we're running this again during our next class.
It sounds scarier than it is.
Yeah,
that's why I kind of wanted to break it down a little bit, because it's like, oh, human factor analyst, but yeah, so it sounds a little bit scarier than it is. But yeah, it's just important, that you guys are taking your time, and, you're going to learn all this stuff. It's all going to come to you at a rate, progressively, and it's all designed so that you can adapt to it slowly and at a constant level. So even with no IT background, you're going to do well.
Absolutely. And let's keep this a secret from our neighbors, because like when we'll tell them, oh, I'm a human factor analyst now, they probably will be guessing what that means, so let's keep that a secret. All right.
20 years ago, I was a custodian. Now they're environmental service technicians.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? So guys, all right, that was like pretty much I'd like to tell you about career options and non-management career paths within testing. So in short, these professions, these career paths are all about testing. People do test software here. They're like run tests, plan tests, evaluate tests, make analysis of it, and do stuff generally all about testing. And of course, there are other career options. Management career path within testing. Test manager or quality assurance manager. These guys do manage testing teams. They are more to managerial, not to technical stuff. They organize people, they plan their workload, they distribute tasks through the team, they report stuff to superiors, that's like supervisors, that's what they do. Task managers or quality assurance manager. When you will get your first job, I think your supervisor will be a task manager or quality assurance manager. That will be the guy whom you will report to, right? Of course, these are the most experienced guys in the team. So when you will get yourself familiarized with the craft, when you will boost up your overall expertise, when you will reveal your skills and become an SME, subject matter expert, you'll probably will be considering to apply for this position. There is nothing wrong about it. In fact, it's like step 2 for testers. First, you get yourself a job as the human factor analyst, and then you'll definitely will plan to become a quality assurance manager. It's a logical step. All right, directors of test or directors of quality. This is a level up to test manager position. These guys are quite often to large companies, large software developing companies. I mean, they're like supervising the whole scope of projects in the organization. Probably company develops a lot of software. Like Microsoft, they do develop Windows, they do develop Office, they do develop like cloud services like Office 365. There are like a lot of products, a lot of software they're launching and supporting. And it takes a lot of product teams, a lot of developers, and a lot of test teams to work to satisfy the quality standards of Microsoft. So all of these teams do have quality assurance managers and test managers and like user interface testers as well. Yeah. So this large amount of teams needs to be supervised too. And that what directors of test and director of quality do. They supervise quality assurance managers and test managers. And of course, these big corporations like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, how they call it now, X, like Twitter, they renamed themselves, they rebranded themselves. Okay, it's like now, I'll stick to old-fashioned naming, like, or Twitter or Amazon. They do have vice presidents of test or vice presidents of quality to report directly to stakeholders or company owners. They do supervise the quality assurance process overall in these companies. And it's the final step for tester in management career path. Any questions about these career options? I mean, non-management and management career path within testing? If you do have questions, don't hesitate to ask them, type them into the chat or like speak up directly. If you don't have questions, that's great. I'm happy to introduce you to the IT career path outside testing discipline. You know, testing is not done in vacuum, and when will be more to module 2 content, you'll learn that you will have to cooperate. You will work with different teams, developers, of course, or help desk or tech support teams, or like project management team. And probably by cooperating with these teams, like requirements team, stakeholders team, technical teams, developers teams, project management teams, or quality tech support teams, probably you will find yourself more comfortable in these teams. Like imagine a situation, you're a tester, you do your craft, you know your craft, you do your job quite well, but you're more so like planning, scheduling meetings, planning stuff. Why not try yourself as project manager then, if you're good at planning and organizing other people? Or you have revealed perfect writing skills. You can elaborate stuff to people in writing. Why not try a technical writer position? So you see, you are free to change your career path if you would like it to happen. These, in short, testing roles can easily be extended to other IT careers. During our internships here at Learnix, you will learn and you will be able to try different roles. A project manager's role or a technical writer's role. We do practice this during module 2 as well, almost from the very beginning, because I want you to feel yourself not just in tester's shoes, but in project manager's shoes as well. And of course, I tell you more about who stakeholders are, what are requirements, and why it's important to collect requirements, to distinguish good requirements from bad requirements. We will talk a lot about software developers, of course, their perception about testers, about their routine, what they do, what they test, why they can't test what testers test. So that will be explained to you later on as well. And finally, I would like you to get familiarized with income potential. In general, sky is the limit. As I've said before, in some organizations like Google, test engineers make more money than developers or software engineers. Plus, if we will get back to security testers, the only role I haven't talked about yet. This role requires some extra certification, some extra skills. It takes a lot of work to become a security or information assurance tester. But your efforts will be well rewarded. So security or information assurance testers are highly compensated, reaching over 120K a year when they receive security clearances. Probably this will be another option for you to develop your skills in non-managerial testing path. But it's like the top of the hill. Manual testers, user interface testers, and automated testers, and performance testers and security guys are at the top of this list. And, technical testers with certifications, and you need to receive a lot of certifications to become a security tester, as well as like an automated tester. And it's an advantage for user interface testers to receive a certificate. We encourage you guys to receive an ISTQB certificate. You will get extra training hours here at Learnix to successfully pass this certification later on. And technical testers with certifications are an uncommon breed that have a higher income potential than developers. So the more certificates you receive, the higher your income will be. That's why it's important to receive an ISTQB. Please consider this certification from day one. It's not it's a challenge, of course, but you guys will be prepared here at Learnix. After completing this course, you will be able to pass this ISTQB certification. So Jason, you've raised your hand. Please go on.
Just really quick, because it relates to ISTQB. You do not need it to be a manual tester. But what I can tell you is this, from my experience in watching people start to get into the entry-level IT positions of testers, is that ISTQB certification adds extra job security for you in the way of it gives you more salability to an employer. From the employer standpoint, it's less of a risk. ISTQB has set such a standard in the industry for their testing certifications that an employer sees that you have that and they know that you're guaranteed to be at a specific level of testing knowledge. Whereas the standard entry-level person who maybe went through the same classes and everything else, without that ISTQB certification, it's a little bit more sluggish with that process because, they're looking for people that are easily trained or already trained, especially in the entry-level positions and the junior testing positions. So that ISTQB certification, it's already incorporated into your foundation series class. We do three-hour classes, plus you get reports and pre-tests and a bunch of different strategy guides for passing the test. And what it adds to your salability in the entry-level starting positions is just immeasurable in that standard.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Jason, for your wonderful amendment to what I've said. Yeah, and especially thank you so much for elaborating a bit more about ISTQB certification. Guys, there are other certifications as well, like CAST or CSTE. These are more complex than ISTQB, but journey the reward. When you start this, your testing career, your career in testing, you'll definitely will get enrolled into this process, and ongoing professional development is what generally is encouraged in many companies. They do have a lot of professional development opportunity there, and they will help you to pass other certifications in most cases, if you will express your desire to, of course. So don't be afraid of CAST or CSTE. All it takes from you is to get yourself into this, and then in a couple of years you will definitely be able to pass other levels of certification, more high ones than ISTQB. Remember, we have a lot of graduates working in different companies, in Amazon, in Airbus. Jason, do we have anyone from Boeing, by the way?
I don't know that we have anybody from Boeing. I do know that we've had people go to Amazon, Google, several of the larger companies, and then there are so many startups all the time. You hear so often lately about IT industry cutting jobs. The one thing that I like to let people know is those jobs that are being cut are mostly customer service positions and upper management positions. And even the upper management positions aren't being cut, they're being restructured. Because there's just no need for all of that. The testers, the easiest way to explain it is I have a 50-inch television sitting in my living room that I bought 8 months ago. Every month it does a program update. Last month when we went to update the programming on the TV, it said Philips told us that the TV was no longer supported and that we should go and buy a new one, and gave us a link on the TV to look at other new TVs. And they wouldn't be upgrading the programming for the TV anymore. It's because technology changes so fast and it's so readily available, the need for testers is constant.
Yes, absolutely. Until software is still alive and present on the market, it needs some like testing, some updates, some patches, some new features to be added to keep like users, consumers, like customers, to like be retained, to be like still using these wonderful products, no matter what, like tellies is just one wonderful example, but we have fridges, we have dishwashers, we have microwave ovens, we have like Internet of Things stuff appearing. So there are like a lot of home appliances we're still using. And you know what? Most of them do have software embedded inside them. So this software, including printers, phones, tellies, this software also requires some testing. It also requires some quality assurance. That's why they're not like cutting these positions in organizations. They probably be laying off a lot of other guys around you, but they will keep testing team intact for as much as they can. And you know why? Because testers do keep company reputation intact. They help they help companies to safeguard their reputations. Like if you will be receiving a buggy and full of defects software to your telly, you'll probably stop using it, right? And it will be a huge problem for Sony or Philips or Roku, no matter who is producing these devices, right? That's why it's important to understand from the very beginning that your role as tester won't be like doing tests. It's like just doing tests. You will be more to overview software from user's perspective. You will be required to think like a user and to think like a tester, of course. Plus, your ability to retain your non-technical background will help you definitely to succeed in end users interface testing, right? So And of course, there are like a lot of other opportunities, management jobs, such as task manager or like quality assurance directors, could reach executive salaries with typical bonus potentials. Let me be honest here, and Jason, you've mentioned that already. They're like firing managerial positions first, right? So, but who knows what will happen in the next like 5 years when you'll reach these positions like test director or quality assurance director, right?
Sometimes it's not always good to be the boss.
Sometimes it is, but yeah, who knows what will happen like in the nearest future. Probably the market will flourish again, and yeah, they will be paying more. So, but
Consider that 10 years ago, these students would have been in a classroom and then in a warehouse testing software, not being able to do it remotely as they're able to do now and work from home and be testers. You know, so the industry, everything is ever changing with technology. And as long as we're putting out 1,000 apps a day and new phones and new TVs and new everything, there's always going to be a need for testers.
Absolutely. And you know, even startups are now more to testing and quality assurance than they was before, because it's like an advantage now to launch the product which was like under test before the launch, because like there are a lot of software and apps launching every day. Thank you, Jameson, for mentioning that. Yeah, and like what's an advantage in this like huge amount of apps? Like probably there are like 7 text editors available to you. Which one will you choose? A buggy one or the one that was previously tested and works like just fine?
I go with free with ads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So even startups, yeah, they're not just like integrating ads into their app, but they do tests as well, and they like in huge demand of testers now. That's what I can see here in California, and like so we are setting trends, guys. Yeah, and the other thing that I need to mention, and that's what's really important. When you were introducing yourself to the class, a lot of you mentioned that you like have kids, that you're more to remote jobs. That's good. That's fantastic. A lot of testing is now performed like remotely. So a lot of companies are like more to
and cost effective.
Yeah, generally it's cost effective to accept someone who's like working remotely. They don't need like to pay for an office space and stuff like that. They're like cutting costs, and that's why they're like offering a lot of remote jobs to testers. So you may like sit in the East Coast and work for the West Coast, or vice versa. I have a guy, he is now working for some financial institution on the East Coast, and he is working in California. He is doing his duties in California as well as I do. I'm working here in California, and I'm happy to give you classes in
And I live in New York, and I deal with people all over the world every day.
Yeah, we're living in the 21st century.
The United States, you know, all over the world every day. So it's, you know, the remote aspect for me, I have disabilities, I have MS and some other health issues. So it really, when COVID came and I found remote work more steadily, it really opened up opportunities for me and for a lot of other people. So, you know, I've often said I can take $7 to $8 an hour less than the average person for a job. Why? Because all I have to do is go to my living room. I don't have gas. I don't have the expenses that go with driving back and forth, stop for coffee, food, lunch, everything else, the wear and tear on a vehicle. So, it really opens up more opportunities in a lot of ways. And, they had started to limit it when COVID restrictions were lifted. They started pulling people back into the offices, but that's when they really noticed that 30 remote workers at however many dollars an hour is still cheaper than a warehouse full of people, 30 workers in a warehouse or in a building, and the cost that goes into all that, the computers, everything else. So, it's becoming a lot more socially, I'm not socially acceptable, but it's just a lot more professionally acceptable.
Thank you for sharing your story, Jason. And guys, welcome to the modern post-COVID world. So we are living all in the 21st century. Remote jobs are like quite common nowadays, and please take an advantage of that. So that's basically is all what I would like to share with you tonight during our introduction class. Next time we will more into details about what it takes to build a testing career, what it takes to think like a tester, what tester skill set is required, roles and responsibilities, and of course we'll definitely talk much more about perception of software testers. So we will be bringing you to the profession from the very beginning. We will explain to you whom you will work with, who will you be in touch every day, with whom I mean you will be in touch every day. So and of course we will deep dive into hard skills, soft skills, and I will explain to you why these skills are important, not just hard skills like knowledge of your craft, but your ability to present yourself, to talk to other people, to communicate efficiently, because these things are, soft skills are closely related to perception of software testers. And in general, it's related to what people think of you. And that also means your success. That's all about your success. If you are able to communicate with other people and not just do your everyday routine in the organization, it will definitely help you to flourish, to establish trustworthy, reliable, and professional contacts and communication with your peers. And that will help you to build a sustainable career in testing discipline, in testing field. So that's generally all about our upcoming class. And let us do some housekeeping here, some organizational stuff. You will need to enroll to the class, and Jason will talk a bit more about it a bit later on. Plus, of course, you will receive all the materials after your enrollment. You will get access to G Drive folder. What I need to say here is you guys will require some basic stuff to do homework. I am good with your written and scanned or photographed home assignments, but I do recommend to get a like a basic PC or like a basic laptop or some like basic hardware, an iPad as like a cheap laptop to do your work. Like we encourage you to use Google infrastructure like G Drive, plus we will ask you to do some assignments in Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. So you need to launch this software somewhere, right? And of course, you will need to get access to the internet, web browsing stuff. So that's typically what we require here. That's all about hardware. Please do not use Chromebooks. Our stuff will not work on Chromebooks. Later on, you will get introduced to more complex software like Selenium and Jira. They are more to like websites, web portals. I'm not like to frighten you with this stuff now. But yeah, you will need to launch this software. And so please get yourself a notebook or an iPad or a MacBook. It's up to you what to choose, right? To do your homeworks here. And yeah, LibreOffice is a free software version. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, generally, if you don't have Microsoft Office, that's okay. You may use LibreOffice, or if you are familiar with G Suite, you may use Google stuff as well. That's okay. In fact, I do use G Suite to manage my tasks. It's free, and it like looks like Microsoft Word or like Excel and PowerPoint. So that's generally is all that I intended to tell you today. Jason, the floor is yours.
Okay, so if you have already enrolled in the class, I know Valeria, you're good. Janufa, you as well. Christina, anyone else that has already done their paperwork, you will receive the link to the classroom by tomorrow morning. I'll have it to you by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And that'll be your modules and everything will be right in there. So you'll be able to take a look at module 1, be a little bit more prepared for what you're coming at. You'll also have the assignment books as well. So you can look through those. Don't freak out. Feel free to try and, investigate, look at it, go through it. That way, if you have questions, you can ask when we come back next Monday. And I'm trying to think. Anyone that is not enrolled, if you need to make an appointment with myself or Julia or Cyril, you can reach out. I've got my link there. I will also put Julia and Cyril's emails in the chat here before I leave, so that if you've been talking to them, you can reach out to them as well if you don't have their information. And that's pretty much it for tonight. You guys all did fantastic. You were very interactive. You asked questions. These are all things that are going to be important factors in you making it through the class and being productive. As you heard me tell Sasha earlier, she kept telling, thank you, Learnix, thank you, Learnix, thank you, Learnix. And yes, that's great to hear. I love to hear it. I love when my students, appreciate what I've done. But we will give you all the tools necessary. There's a couple of things you're going to be responsible for. You're going to be responsible for learning those tools, learning how to implement those tools. And if you can't do either of those things, knowing how to ask, not waiting until the last minute, following through. Motivation is going to be key. We can only teach you. The other part of it comes from you. You heard earlier they talked about resume writing. How many resumes did you send out a day? I have a new formula for that, and it's not a number. It's called how bad do you want to be a tester? The more you want to be a tester, the more you're going to push through and be reaching out and taking those opportunities that you have when you have time. If you don't have a job, your full-time job is finding a job. If you have a job, your part-time job is finding a job. So you just have to make it work within your life, and your motivation is going to be key to everything that happens in the school and you being connected to the school. How you use it, how you use me, the instructors, the materials, all that is a big part of each other, and they're big pieces to the puzzle. So that's what we're here for, though. Does anybody have any questions for me tonight? Well, again, you guys all did fantastic. Thank you very much for coming tonight. And if there's any questions or you need anything, please feel free to reach out.
All right, guys, thank you for your active participation during this class. It was a pleasure to see you all tonight. I really appreciate your active participation. So please do not hesitate to drop me a line if you want to, and if you have like extra questions about this class and like our upcoming activities, that's okay. I am quite responsive. Here is my email in the chat. So with all this, let us leave you guys for tonight. Until the next time, have a great time and enjoy your evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.